Hello world, Double Thumbs here. The Sony 10-18 f4 is widely known as the best vlogging lens for the Sony APS-C cameras, but that thing costs $900. Since money doesn't grow on trees, I wanted to find an alternative that was a little bit more wallet friendly. And when I came across this Rokinon 12mm f2 used for $150, I thought, whatever I got to lose, let's try it out, and I pulled the trigger. Let's go see if this low-cost Korean lens can be used for vlogging. So we'll start out with some strengths of this little lens, and the first and the biggest is its price. At $249, it's less than a third of the price of the Sony 10-18. And for the price of that Sony 10-18, you could get both the Rokinon 12mm f2 and the Sony 18-105 f4. And this covers a wide range of field of view. And for us non-professionals, spending almost $1,000 on a single lens, it's just not preferred. Yeah, that bokeh that I get on my cap videos with this f2.8 lens, it's just not acceptable. I think I need that $3,000 f1.4 GM lens. So for us regular people who want to spend a little as possible and just records home videos and YouTube videos, I can definitely say that Rokinon 12mm f2 is the best budget ultra wide angle lens for the Sony E-mount. The best balance of price, size, and image quality. And the second strength of the Rokinon 12mm is its wide field of view and the fast aperture. Being a 12mm lens on an APS-C camera, it translates to 18mm on a full frame camera, and that makes it an ultra wide angle lens, and it is wide. And you can definitely tell the difference between the Rokinon 12mm and the Sigma 16mm f1.4, which is another wide angle lens that I love. And another option that I considered was the 7 Artisan's 7.5mm f2.8, but this is a fisheye lens, so it has evident distortions that lots of action cams have. Whereas the Rokinon is a rectilinear lens, meaning it has very little distortion in spite of being a ultra wide angle lens. Also, the aperture of this lens is f2, meaning it's a bright lens, so you can vlog at night or also indoors without being concerned about having grainy footage. And also it's great for some nice night cityscape shots. And the third and the last positive of the Rokinon is its size. The Sony 10-18 is praised for its small and light body, and definitely the Rokinon 12mm is also very small and very light. I think it only weighs about 20 grams more than the Sony, so it's quite small and quite light. So now moving on to some negatives of the Rokinon, and the first one is the lack of stabilization. Like most third-party lenses, the Rokinon doesn't have any lens stabilization. And I do think this is the biggest downfall or the negative of the Rokinon, because there's nothing more painful than watching shaky footage. And the difference between the Rokinon and the kit lens, which has lens stabilization, is quite evident. The difference is even more prominent when you compare it to the Sony 18-105, which has great lens stabilization. So the Rokinon might be the best fit with the A6400 or the A6400, which has in-body stabilization. But being a ultra wide angle lens, the hand jitters and the shakes aren't as noticeable as, say, a 50mm unstabilized lens. Also, you could fix the problem with the small gimbal. It's quite stable on my Zhiyun Weibo Lab, but I feel like it will work even better on smaller gimbals like the Zhiyun Crane M2, just because the Rokinon is so small and light, so it'll fit without any problems. And the second negative of the Rokinon is that it's a manual focus lens. And as I talked about in my vintage lens video, trying to pull focus as a one-man production team, it can be quite challenging. But because the Rokinon is so wide, you can keep the camera really close to you, and with the help of focus peaking, you can easily make sure that your beautiful face is sharp and in focus. So I haven't found the manual focus to be a problem with my A6400 just because it has the flip-up screen. So as long as you have the flip-up screen of the A5000, 5100, and the 6100, 6400, and the 6600, then you're not gonna have any problems. But if you don't have a flip-up screen like the 6000, 6300, 6500, then you might have some trouble. And the third negative of the Rokinon is that the Sony 10-18 is much wider than the Rokinon. In the world of ultra wide angle lenses, difference of 1mm is huge. As you can see in this video, the difference between the 10 and the 12mm is quite evident. So if you absolutely need the widest angle possible, then you gotta go with the Laowa 9mm f2.8 or the Sony 10-18 f4, which both are quite pricey in my opinion. So if you wanted to look at a cheaper alternative, you might have to look at the 7 Artisans 7.5 f2.8 or the Rokinon 8mm f2.8. Both are fisheye lenses though, so it's gonna have that distortion that not a lot of people like. So in conclusion, the Rokinon 12mm f2 is a competitive ultra wide angle lens for the Sony E-mount. It's fast, it's small, and it's light, all while being affordable at $249. And I do think it is a serious contender to the Sony 10-18 because only video aspect that the Sony has over the Rokinon is its stabilization. And the only reason to not get this lens would be if you're satisfied with the 16mm that you get through your kit lens or the Sigma 16mm f1.4, which is another lens that I really love and use to film almost everything, including this video. What do you think? Do you think you can use this ultra wide angle lens without stabilization for vlogging on your Sony E-mount cameras? Let me know down below, and until next time,